Quantum Conversations, your portal to the inner realms. Access infinite possibilities, infinite mastery, and infinite love. Mind-expanding, heart-opening conversations with some of the greatest spiritual teachers, luminaries, and healers of today's world. Usher in new earth by living in your sacred heart. Quantum Conversations is brought to you by acoustichealth.com, home of music from the universe, online healing retreats, and this program. Claim your free registration to daily shows at acoustichealth.com. acoustichealth.com, your portal to the inner realms. Our program starts shortly. Welcome to another Quantum Conversation, brought to you by acoustichealth.com. I'm Loren Gailey, and I invite you to sit back as we enter the quantum realm, that space of the greater part of you. It is your connection to infinite possibilities, infinite potential, and infinite mastery. And welcome to today's episode, everyone. We are creating a very sacred space where we are discussing technology, tools that allow us to live better lives, to have higher vibration, to detox from heavy metals, and to align with powerful energies. My guest today is here to share on her products that assist us in this journey. And what I love about it is that this is a former scientist. Eileen Durfee is a former nuclear power engineer, and she went out on this path in her own life to discover some profound healing techniques and some tools that assist you too. We are talking with Eileen Durfee specifically about infrared saunas today. Eileen, thank you for being here. Welcome to the show.
Well, Lauren, it's really nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
Let's talk about you. My goodness, you are, I call this a new earth business because this is in support of us living purified lives and being in spaces that allow us to create and bring forth new solutions. And you yourself, on your personal journey, you discovered these products. Can you share a little bit about that personal journey of yours and what led you into this lineup of products that you offer today?
Sure. Well, I was almost a miscarriage, and when I was born, I had twisted hips. I had to wear special shoes. I've had pain my whole life. I grew 9 inches in 3 months. I was ran over by a car in a parking lot. I could barely raise my arms above my shoulders. I grew up in the most contaminated place in the Western Hemisphere of the world, where they made the bomb at Hanford. And so I've just been sick and pain my whole life, but with my background in engineering and quality assurance and control and inspection and just having that, creative mind, being able to see things in my mind, I just knew something didn't feel right about, what the doctors were telling me, the medication and just the different things. At one time I was allergic to everything. I was a universal reactor, had Hashimoto's, hypothyroidism, I had psoriasis over my whole body. I was very sick, to say the least. And so I started this journey of this detox, this diet, that diet. And so it's been quite the journey. So everything, because I was a nuclear power plant engineer, then I went into real estate, did land development, built houses, I ran construction crews, and then I managed nonprofit corporations, and all the while I spared no expense at trying everything. I was like known as the gizmo woman, you know? And when I'd get these gizmos, it's like, man, I just wish it was this or it didn't have that. And then I would go to sleep, and I would wake up. I'd have these dreams or visions. I would see these things like blueprints, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then I would create these things. And I came from a really creative family. My dad is a machinist. And, you know, it's just that anything that I've ever wanted to do, even if I didn't know how to do it, I could learn how to do it very well. And so when I started detoxifying and rebuilding my energy systems in my body, it's just, I switched my whole occupation. I tell people it's like I'm in my fourth life in this life, and I'm having the time of my life because this is what I was created to do. I'm to help people. So, number one, I mean, we do live in a toxic world, so we want to first of all put up that line of protection. We want to absorb less toxins through the water, or the food, the stuff we put on our skin. And even if we do the best that we can, we are still going to accumulate toxins. So I wanted to be able to get those out of the body. So they don't call them heavy metals for nothing. I mean, they change our energy patterns and everything else. And it's just so important to me, but this is kind of where I came from, and now I have this flow of inventions and things that can help us.
I love it. Thank you for your journey, really, and for having the courage to go out and seek it and actually come up with these products. And so what I love about you, Eileen, is that you are really excited about the products that you bring forth. And that's going to bring us to this topic of infrared. We know that infrared is very healing. Can you explain what is happening with infrared?
Yes. You know, we all know that heat stress therapy is good for you. That's undisputed. And we started out with, you know, wood fires, heating up rocks and pouring water over them to get on a sweat, all these sweat lodges and the history of sauna therapy. And, you know, it used to cost so much money when you had one of those traditional saunas, electric-wise, to go take a daily sauna, that we had this huge shift of consciousness where everybody went to the plain infrared or the dry sauna, which has light that you can't see that heats up the water molecules in the body. And then more recently, they've come to find out that the near infrared spectrum of light activates the mitochondria of the cell. That's the powerhouse of the cell that makes ATP. That you can shine light on the skin, and just like photosynthesis with plants, this very special spectrum of light does more than just heat you up and make you sweat. It's phenomenal, and that's the trend now, where yes, infrared is good, but there's a difference between just heating up a water molecule, you know, to increase core body temperature, and then actually activating an energy production in the body. So infrared is great. There's several things that happened when we made this transition. We also threw the baby out with the bathwater, so to speak, because originally when you poured water over the hot rocks, depending on the type of heater, it would either produce negative ions, which, you know, are very good for the mood and for health and meditation and enlightenment. And then there's the positive ions. So they did a lot of German studies and showed that inhalation of those negative ions were really, really important. And it would affect the metabolism of the person. You know, the whole reason why we take a sauna is to produce sweat, is to get our core body temperature up. And when we breathe at least, a certain amount of these ions in the air, our sweat volume will double and our rectal temperature will go up even after we get out of the sauna just from inhaling those ions. And so we did the transition, and so what I've done is added the ions back in the sauna and added the near infrared component. And here, just recently, Dr. Gerald Polak from the University of Washington has made a brilliant discovery that actually shows us how taking a sauna can hydrate our body. And that's really something. People are sweating and you'd think, oh my gosh, I'm going to get dehydrated taking a sauna. Yeah. But there's a new form of energy. So I know I'm, taking a long-winded description of all this, but it's so interrelated to the big picture that what they found out is that water not only can freeze or be a liquid or be a vapor, there's another fourth state that they just discovered. There's an excellent TED Talk on easy water. It's the fourth phase of water. And they originally discovered this in the lab, and it was an accident, really, because one day they left the light off on the microscope. And this negatively charged water just shrank and went away. And they're going, what's that going on? They turned the light back on and it grew. So before, water was not like negatively charged. I mean, there's those drops that, Flanagan has to structurize your water to make it wetter, and that's a negative charge. But we found out now that shining light on the skin acts like a solar panel, and the density of water changes and separates. There becomes a negative charge and a positive charge. And this discovery is going to change us because they can shine light on water, put two probes in there, and harvest more electricity than it took to generate the light to make the energy. But this besides that transformation to really help our world, it helps our body. There's a thing about, hydration. A lot of our issues are that even though we might drink enough water a day, we're not getting hydrated. People can drink water and it actually can flush and take minerals out of the body, which lowers our energies. It's just like a car battery. If the minerals in the battery are off, it won't hold an electrical charge. And we're trying to raise our energies and have our enlightenment. And so with shining light on our skin, it makes it denser and more hydrating. But now they really understand how hydroelectricity is made in the water. So you can take a near-infrared sauna, shine the light on your skin, and store energy, not just create energy from the food that you're eating, or from the mitochondria making, ATP, but you can actually store energy in the liquids of your body, which is where the power comes from for osmosis. They just realized that the cellular osmosis that happens is driven by extracellular, high pH, negatively charged water. It creates a channel in the cell, so those protons go in there, and then the part of the cell, the lysosome, that cleans up all the molecular debris has to have those protons to drop the negative charge. So it's the differential from the high pH to the low pH that's all driven by, having light and obviously having a good quality salt in your diet to create this additional energy by the osmotic flow that actually will really detoxify you by cleaning up that molecular debris. So there's all this kind of science now that is showing us that the only kind of sauna we should be taking is near infrared, the incandescent bulb sauna. We should be having some good high mineral pH salt, and we should be hydrating our tissues and breathing more negative ions while we're in the sauna. So I've got inventions that covers all of that, and it's the premier way. I mean, now Hope for Cancer says don't take any kind of sauna unless it's near infrared. They're exclusively using near infrared sauna therapy, and just every day, even if somebody doesn't have cancer, you have actually cells that need to be recycled, because if they're not recycled by your immune system, you will develop cancer. So every day we all need that energy and that cleansing in our bodies. And so these are the tools that I created, and I'm getting help. I'm getting divine help, because at the time I would see these things and I would have this rush, this flow of energy. I'd be divinely directed to do it, to make these things, and now the science is validating it even more than what I first learned. So it's so exciting. And even beyond that, now there's some German studies with shining near infrared light and how special it is to the body when you exercise.
Yes.
Oh, wow. It's just exciting.
Yes, I love that. Okay. So on our YouTube stream, we have an image of this, let's call it a hot yoga tent. It's it's a near infrared sauna, and this is big enough for the yoga. And so you could put a spin bike in here, or you could just sit in it, or you can do yoga poses. And that brings us to this topic of the exercise and how this light is actually helping us burn more of the body fat, shaping the body contour.
Yeah, it's so amazing, and I kind of get led down these paths. I met a gal, the editor of Yoga Digest, Jen Bodner, and she had one of my original sauna tents, and it just, she loved it, but she got a second one and zipped them together. It's like, talk about MacGyver, right? And she started doing these poses in there, and it was just like, she goes, oh, but Eileen, if we had it so high and so wide and so long, we could do a full yoga practice in there. Because, she's a yoga teacher, and, life gets busy, and you're not always able to take care of yourself, even though you're helping take care of other people. And so when you get in the light, it is such a special energy that she said where she used to do like an hour practice to get to that state of where she, needed to be. She says it happens in 20 to 30 minutes. So we created, the portable hot yoga studio, we call it, and it has some amazing aspects that we'll talk about that maximize your time in there. But one of the German studies took 2 groups of women, a total of 40. Half of them rode spin bikes without the light, half rode spin bikes with near infrared. And it wasn't a vigorous exercise program. I mean, people that are trying to get in shape or lose weight are going to probably exercise more than 3 days a week and 45 minutes for a month. But that's all this study was for. Mm-hmm. And so at the end of the study, they found out that the women that had near infrared light shining on them lost 444%. Yeah, that's 444% more fat and weight than the other group. Plus, the circumference of their body reduced by 8 centimeters. Not only that, they had less pain and better blood sugar. I mean, that's like, if I have near infrared light shining on me, that means like I do the exercise once and get the benefits of doing it 4 times. I mean, I have a tread climber, and I have a SaunaFix lamp on the wall. So when I'm doing exercise, I'm getting the near infrared light. I have a yoga tent that I go in, and I do stretching, and I do poses, and then I finish off with the sauna with a real good sweat. And an amazing thing happened over the period of 4 or 5 months without changing my diet. And I didn't even do 45 minutes 3 times a week. You know, I did poses for 10, 15 minutes, 5, 6 days a week. Mm-hmm. And I lost 25 pounds. And one of the things they talked about in the study about the fat is like, you have an overall metabolism. People might say, well, I have a fast or a slow metabolism, and you can get hair analysis or blood work to verify, my adrenals are underactive or my thyroid's underactive, and that, will reflect how your body, where your body stores fat or how you might, be able to respond to diet and exercise. But the study showed that the fat cell metabolism is the slowest in the body. So when the near infrared light was shining on the fat cells, it sped up their metabolism, and the body burned that fat for energy. So it was contouring the shape of the body. Mm-hmm. So near infrared is just amazing, and the design elements in this sauna, of course, I always want to do no harm first. Like I used organic cotton. Everything is ROHS certified, meaning like in Europe, you can't have very much lead or nickel or all these different contaminants in anything that you make and that people buy, and they have to be submitted to labs and tested. But in America, we don't have that. And so the zippers, for instance, in your pants in America can have about 50% more lead in them than in Europe. So when I did this, it's like, okay, these tents have zippers. I don't want them to be toxic. It's like, let's do no harm while we're doing good. So I made sure and sourced very clean components. The frame is like steel with the zero VOC powder coating on them, so it's non-toxic. It doesn't outgas. And one of the other things, since this light is so special, it's so healing, I didn't want it to leave. So these radiant panels keep the light from leaving. Its light travels at the speed of light, and it can't leave. So it rebombards your body, so that good light exposure that's increasing our body's energy is maximized. And we're having all this energetic boost. It's like today, a lot of people drink a lot of coffee and energy drinks, and they just aren't getting the energy that they need. And I think that's the number one imbalance that people will notice first is, they wake up tired, they're fatigued. And my recommendation would be just start adding light.
Yes.
To your daily routine. And I've tried to make it very easy. I mean, you can throw it in 3 travel bags and take it with you. Put it together without tools in a very short amount of time. So we've really gone through some good design changes. I have to tell you a story. The first sauna tent I had, we had to make them small because they didn't heat up very fast.
Yes, well, you know what? I was going to ask, do you sweat in these saunas? Like when you're doing your yoga poses, do you sweat more?
Oh, yes.
So it does get warm in there. That's cozy.
Oh, yeah. It's like the panels have an R12 insulation factor, and they retain 95% of the heat. And even though they're big, the sauna tents are big. I'm 6 foot. My son is 6'5". So I made this tent so if you're 6'6", You can stand up in there. You can lay down in there.
Uh-huh.
You know, the smaller tent that's not the yoga tent, it's like a transformer. You can sit, stand, flip a bracket, lay it down, and you will sweat like in a smaller tent. You don't even have to preheat these. No preheat. You don't have to have a special outlet. You know, forget it. If your hair dryer works in the outlet, so does this sauna. And so it's green, you know, saving for the environment. But yeah, you sweat. It's crazy, especially when you put the Breathe Safe in there. That Breathe Safe, I was actually on an airplane and I actually saw it. I was kind of in a meditative state and I kind of went into this vision and I saw this little gizmo sitting on my tray table and everybody else was breathing and getting sick and I was breathing safe. So I got a hold of this engineer that I work with and we came up with this little device and had it tested and amazing things were discovered. It gives you 300% more negative ions than in the German sauna study, so you sweat. You really do. The president of Cancer Tutor has one, and he says, Eileen, I was so skeptical. He says, but it's true. With the Breathe Safe in there, you sweat twice as much in half the time, but you don't feel like you're that hot. He says, it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah. You don't feel that hot. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it's like in that German study, even though their sweat volume was doubled and their skin temperature was hotter, they felt more refreshed. And but it is true. And so the other thing people don't realize that, you know, is that when you're sweating in a sauna, you know, studies have analyzed sauna sweat. Sauna sweat detoxifies the body a lot more than just being out in the heat. You know, if you're outside in the sun, you know, and you measure the sweat, there's not as many toxins in it as sauna sweat. But when you're in a sauna, the humidity rises and then you're breathing back in that toxic junk that you just sweat out. So with the Breathe Safe, it cleans the air dramatically. It's actually a plasma generator that gets rid of VOCs and benzenes and ammonias and formaldehydes and all this stuff and particles. And by accident, it actually increases oxygen 70 to 118% as well. But that way, when you're in your sauna, you're minimizing the amount of toxins you're breathing back in when you put this little Breathe Safe inside the enclosure with you.
That is amazing. Okay, so share a little bit more on the plasma generator and what that is. Is it water plasma?
No, it's actually everyone's heard of negative ion generators. They've been around for a long time. Well, plasma was developed because in Earth, how the Earth cleans up some of the air is it produces some negative and some positive ions. And then there's this electron exchange that helps to clean the air. So they started making these giant plasma machines. Actually, the LA airport uses them there, and it cleans the jet fumes out of the concourses. They smell a lot better these days. It's because of that plasma air cleaner, and it's just basically a way that a machine, electrical machine, that generates a bunch of negative and positive ions that have this reaction. And with my device, it's a boosted circuit, and it's a new ratio of negative to positive ions. It makes actually 19,100,000 negative ions and 4,550,000 positive. And that's special because a lot of the other plasma generators, they have to dial back and not produce as many negative ions with the positive because it also generates ozone. And if you have too much ozone in the air, it can like burn your lungs, you know. So you want to clean the air, but you don't want to breathe a bunch of ozone. And so with my ratio, you know, the EPA, you had to have no more than 0.02 part per million. So we tested it and it came up 0.00 part per million. I'm going, wow. I says, I wonder if it produces anything. This smells so fresh. So we did a more sensitive test and it came up 0.003 part per million. So there's almost an unmeasurable amount of ozone, but it's the negative ions with the positive that clean the air, and then the byproduct ends up producing oxygen. It's a new way to produce oxygen. And so this little device is not just for your sauna. People are sleeping with it. They're putting it in their car. They're having it at their desk with them at work. And, you know, the FDA prohibits me, because it's not a registered medical device, to explain to you what's happening with these people that are using it. But you can read the product reviews on the website. But it's just absolutely amazing. Just imagine very clean, ionized, oxygen-rich air. It's, you know, 70 to 118% more oxygen. I mean, how many of us are doing breath work basically, you know, not only with our rhythm, but because it floods our body with more oxygen, which is good for us. So this is kind of like a life hack, you know. So when you're not doing your breathing exercises, you can still be getting more oxygen. And it just has a very positive impact on the body. And this little thing is not even 7 inches long. It's a little over 2 inches wide and about 3.5 inches tall. It doesn't require any filters or anything like that. And just take a little kid toothbrush, and every week just take less than 1 minute to brush off the needles and brush off the plate, so it is producing the maximum amount of oxygen and negative ions and plasma all the time. But it's just phenomenal because there's people with multiple chemical sensitivities that couldn't go outside. They couldn't go in stores. That just basically plug this little gizmo into that power bank you probably already have for your cell phone or for your tablet.
Yeah.
And you can just carry it with you.
It's got a little battery pack so you can charge it and then it operates, right, on that charge?
Actually, no. It doesn't have an internal battery.
Okay.
It comes with a USB cord, so you can plug it into any USB, or it comes with the wall plug. It comes with the cigarette lighter plug, so you can plug it in and use it anywhere. But because it's so small and it only consumes 3 watts of power, you can use the USB and plug it into a battery pack you already have, probably.
Yes, right. Because you've got a micro USB, right? It's like a micro USB. Okay, well, so it's a common plug, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
you could use those little battery packs that charge your phone with this. Well, you know, this is amazing. You are so techie and talented. I love it. I really do. The fact that this just comes out and cleans the air with plasma, and it's so simple. This is from a former nuclear power engineer turned renegade for holistic healing. Awesome. Wow. Okay. All right. So let's continue, because there's some other things I would like to point to our listeners and viewers who are watching this, that on the show page at acoustichealth.com with Eileen's show, you can refresh if you don't see this, but there is a link that will get you to all of Eileen's products. Plus, there is a link to a special offer, and this special offer features it's a special package with a couple of these products that we're talking about. But you get this Breathe Safe at no charge. It's like a free giveaway. And I think this is like $250. You're including this with the purchase of the hot yoga tent.
Yes, there's a bundle called the Home Hot Yoga Studio that includes your lamp, the lamp travel bag, the rope ratchets, the chains, the glasses, and then the tent panels, the bamboo mat that goes on the floor, and your frame, and they all have travel bags. And when you buy that, if you put the Breathe Safe in your cart and use the coupon code BREATHE, then you get that little device. It'll take off that $250 and get it for free.
Beautiful. That's a great little bonus for that. All right, so these are wonderful products. This one for the tent is quite special. So it's for those who really want to bring in the infrared light into a tent like this, into an exercise space. But yet also, through the link to your website, what do you have to say about people maybe just purchasing a rack of lights? I think because you've got the panel, the inside panels that reflect that light, that's allowing for the light to be 360 degrees around you, right?
Yes.
But is it also beneficial just to have a light in your home on a daily practice?
Oh, yes. We sell, well, when you buy the lamp and the tent together, you save like $300, I think, versus buying them by themselves. But we sell the lamp because some people don't have room for a tent. Or maybe they already have a sauna box and they want to go near infrared. They can hang that in there. Or people will have a small closet and they'll hang the lamp in there and set and expose their skin. Some people will hang it in their shower, their shower stall, and then get the near infrared therapy. Because it's shining on the skin, it's creating energy. Wow. You're going to feel, the anti-inflammatory effects, the pain melting away. You're going to feel more flexible. That's how I started, and it changed my life. Just shining that light on the body. Any injuries, it's just amazing.
Yes. Okay, well, I remember some of those hotels. I haven't seen them in the modern, updated hotels, but there was a time, especially in the ski resort towns, where the light, they would have, I don't know if it's near infrared or infrared, but remember those lights? They were like heat lamps in the bathroom. So for you to remind us that you can put this in the shower, is that safe with the electrical? I mean, these are not necessarily waterproof, but these are in a casing that you could put away from the shower?
Well, what people have done is they don't turn on their shower, but they put a little stool in there and they'll hang the lamp, from a hook on the wall or the ceiling, and then they'll close the door, and that way it brings up the temperature because it's enclosed. In a smaller area. So no, you don't run the water at the same time you're in there. The lamp fixture has a 12-foot long cord. I made it that long because that's how I used to use it, was in my bathroom before I came up with the idea for the tent. Mm-hmm. And so with the on-off switch being 3 foot from the base of the fixture, and the whole lamp is only 12 pounds.
Okay.
And then the guards around the light, all the competitors either cut you or branded you, and you had to run for the aloe vera. And so it took me a little while, but I came up with a polymer and iron that was really lightweight, that was non-toxic, but it didn't conduct the heat. You can leave my lamp on for 12 hours and touch it and not get burned. You could have the back of it right on a wooden door. It's not going to catch fire.
Excellent.
I had a employee who had foot surgery, and so what we did is we balanced the sauna fix right on the guards, right on the carpeting, and she had her, sock and her shoe off, and would shine the light on her foot, and it would melt away her pain while she was sitting at the desk working. So, I mean, I had a client that, well, she passed away when she was 99, but she was in her 90s, and her legs had to be cleaned with betadine every day and wrapped before she got out of bed, or else, because she just fought having these sores, and the doctors wanted to amputate her legs, but the mother that was taking care of her didn't want to do that. And so we hung the sauna fix from the ceiling. I mean, she could only get in this lazy boy chair, and we draped it back kind of like drapes on a window. You know how you open it and you hook it to the side. Mm-hmm. So we would let her get in the chair. She'd put her feet up, and then we would lower the light back over to shine on her legs. And we started doing that, and her legs improved so much, no more sores, that, I mean, for 15 years, they had fought this infection and treated her legs and wrapped them. And with the near infrared light, can you imagine the life change that provided? So in an open room even, there's 4 loops to hook on the back of the light fixture, and there's one on the top. So literally, you can hang and use this thing anywhere, just not while the water's pouring on it, because it's not waterproof.
Okay. Wow, that is amazing. It really is, and I love this. And again, more people who use this and experience the results with it, that is fascinating. So here you are with the yoga tent, and the reports coming out say that it helped with their blood sugar, because when we're talking about what's going on in the mitochondria on a cellular level and the energy that's being generated, it's quite fascinating that it's something that, I mean, we don't feel the light, right? Do you need to have the heat? Is it also part of the heat that is a combination with the infrared light, or will people get the benefits as well with that light hanging from a ceiling over them, even though they're not in an enclosed area?
They will get phototherapy without sweating.
Okay.
With the near infrared light. It will cause that negative charge to build up and change their water density, so they're going to become more hydrated. So there's huge benefits.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Of using the lamps without the heat stress. But I got to explain one more thing that we didn't talk about. In a typical sauna, whether it be traditional or the dry sauna, the ambient air temperature is about the same everywhere around the person. So it's, heating up the body. In the near-infrared sauna, there is just a strange phenomenon that happens. Because it's a diamond-shaped light pattern that you shine on the trunk of your body, on one side of the body. Even though you're in the tent, and yes, the light's bouncing all over and you're getting exposure. Mm-hmm. But when it's shined on the trunk of the body goes, oh my gosh, it's hot on that side. Let's shunt all the available blood over there, vasculate the tissues so that we can have water come out of the bloodstream to form sweat on the skin to cool you down. Mm-hmm. So what you do is you wipe that down and you turn 180 degrees, and your body does the same thing. It's weird. You'll begin sweating on one side of your body and the other side's cold.
Interesting.
But that's double the circulation. The blood shunting. You cannot get that in any other kind of sauna. Right. And when you do sweat in an enclosure, you're going to detoxify more, but there is huge benefits even if you never get an enclosure and you just use the lights. And they're super light. They're like 12 pounds. They come with their travel bag. If anybody ever has any indigestion after they ate a meal or something, shining the light on your tummy promotes the peristalsis action, and your indigestion will just go away or dramatically improve. The body loves the light.
That's a great metaphor, actually, for the times that we are in. The body does love the light. Absolutely. And we are becoming bigger holders of light as we all go through this phase of the energies that are coming on the planet. And I see that this is a beautiful tool to detox and drop density. And so
Yeah.
isn't it fascinating, Eileen, that the blood sugar evened out? Because if we're doing this and the cells are activating and detoxifying, and then fat is being targeted and used, that would balance out the blood sugar.
Yes, and sometimes, people aren't looking at the whole aspect of blood sugar. Sometimes just because the body doesn't have consistent energy, it's kind of like driving a car, if you're on cruise control, you're going to get better gas mileage, right? But if somebody's like driving in first gear, going 100 miles an hour and throwing on the emergency brake and stuck at a stoplight and then, going in sixth gear, going 5 miles an hour, I mean, that kind of person or metabolism is going to have blood sugar problems. And so it's about consistent energy. So those things that you were talking about, yes, but also just because of the boost of energy that the body's changing the density of the water and helping the body in so many ways that your body's also will temporarily raise blood sugar to get more inside the cell to combust it, because we have circulating levels, but then we have the mechanism where the body actually has to burn it. And so if any one of these pathways are not working like they should, then the body will temporarily rise this or that. And so I think that the blood sugar is definitely tied to all those aspects because it's just not doing one thing for the body. This is doing so many things for our bodies.
Yes, it is quite amazing, quite spectacular. Okay, so I want to again point those watching and listening to the special link to your webpage that is available. If you're looking at the show page, you can go ahead and refresh your page if you don't see it, but it's right there, all of the infrared products, and then there's a special offer that Eileen has put together. Again, that special offer is on the sauna tent, if you're interested in that, with the Breathe Pure, the Breathe Free, and then there's something else for those who are familiar with Soleil. This is highly saturated salt water, but this is good salt. So Eileen, share with us about the good salt and why this is important for our bodies.
Sure. I was at a trade show and there was a Korean acupuncturist who had a booth next to mine and he had this really expensive healthy salt. And I thought, oh my gosh, the salt is, he had all my favorite salt there. The Himalayan, the Gray Celtic Sea salt, the Redmond, the Hawaiian. I mean, he had all these salts there. And so when I had time, I went over there and he had these pH drops. And so he had all this acid water lined up and he put a pinch of each one of the salts in its own corresponding glass. And they still stayed acid. I'm going, that's interesting. Then he took a pinch of the healthy salt and it went blue. And I go, okay, there's something to this. I'm going to get some and I'm going to try it. So I'm, scientific background, so what I do is I cut my hair, do a hair analysis, and every day for 30 days, I consume the 1/16 of a teaspoon 3 times a day of this salt. Then I take another hair analysis and I stop the salt for 30 days. Mm-hmm. Then I do my hair analysis, then I start and I stop. And every month I'm doing my hair analysis to see what it's doing to my chemistry. Then I also sent the salt off to the lab because the guy said it was a 9 pH and it was this and that. And I thought, man, that's pretty good. Well, the lab results came back that it was a 10.72 pH and 25% minerals. I almost needed to call it a C complex instead of a healthy salt. And it had the smallest particle size of any salt. And then I'm comparing, their certificate analysis of all these different salts and what they had. And one of the things that I found, because Himalayan, that's the book, and, that taught everybody about the Soleil in 2003. The Himalayan salt is 0.8% minerals, less than 1%. It has almost 2% sulfur, and the rest is sodium chloride. And then the pH of the Himalayan salt is about a 6. But it's very interesting when you put the salt in the water to dissolve it to make the Soleil, the pH drops and the ORP goes up. And so what happens is the longer you left the Himalayan salt in the water, the more inflammatory it became and the more acid it became. And so that really bothered me. It's like, oh my gosh, because we have this ocean around each cell that is supposed to be alkaline to help with this energy transfer, to clean up the molecular debris for the osmotic flow. And it's like, this is the opposite of what we want. And so, after I saw such dramatic changes, my blood sugar improved, all my body was rejecting all the toxic metals that were in my tissues and throwing it out. And it was just like unbelievable, the change. I've never seen anything so effective at detoxifying the body, balancing the energy. And it didn't happen just 1 month and that's it. That's why I started, stop. And then the next question is, well, geez, look at that cadmium. That's enough for 30 years of cadmium pouring out. Was that in the salt? Of course, that was my next question. Is like, where am I getting this from? And so I spent like $3,000 analyzing the salt, and it had some of the lowest levels compared to all the other brands of salt. So what it is, there's scientists that have made the case that for our DNA to express themselves, we need 49 minerals minimum. Some of them are saying that they think maybe another 10 are required. So, and that's like 59 trace elements. You can't get that from a supplement. You can't get that from our food now. And, back in the day before refrigeration, we were packing everything with salt. We had sea salts and things like that. We had a lot more minerals in our soils and, in our diet. And we're just not getting that. But so when the body was exposed to the special blend of healthy salt, it thought it won the lottery. It's like, oh man, you mean I don't have to use cadmium for zinc anymore? I don't have to use lead for calcium. And it just comes pouring out of the body. And so this salt takes almost 4 years to make. It's mined, and then they debrine it in the shade, and then for a period of 3.5 years, they spray it and they rake it and they put on secret natural herbs and ingredients. And then when that process is done, they put it in a special plot and they burn it under high flame for days. So this is not the 9 times roasted bamboo jade sea salt. It is not the high energetic Japanese salt that you can get, but it is another highly energetic, high pH mineral salt that dramatically shifts your chemistry and rebuilds tissues with kind of like I call them new car parts, and you're getting rid of the junkyard parts. So it's phenomenal.
Okay, all right. So then when we get this, those who are interested, it also comes with test strips. That's another part of the special offer, that you are including those test strips at no charge. And so how would we work with this? Do what you did, do a Soleil type product for 30 days?
Well, what I did was I basically put the powder, it's a powder, it's not even granules. If you pinch it and drop it, some of it kind of floats away. It's like immediately absorbs into your mucosal membrane. You don't even need to make a Soleil with it. You can put some in your water and drink it. You can put it direct in your mouth and swish it around, because it's a 10.72. I mean, does anybody have any problem with gingivitis or want to have good oral health? I mean, it'll just kill everything that shouldn't be there. And I just did a 1/16 of a teaspoon 3 times a day. That's hardly anything. It is very potent, powerful stuff. And I also had some clients that were having a rough time with recurrent infections, everything from sinus to ears, nose, throat to pneumonia, all these different things. And when I wanted some pH test strips, since this is 10.72, man, your body chemistry shifts very quickly, and hair analysis was a monthly thing. I wanted to have a quick measurement. So I had some FDA approved ultra sensitive pH test strips, like 0.25 increments, so you can really see a shift. And then I also wanted to have people monitor, are they drinking the right kind of water to hydrate themselves? Are they really hydrated or not? Because there's a lot of factors there. So I came up with a 14-panel test strip. And so how we use these is you take a 14-panel test strip and a ultra-sensitive pH test strip to get a baseline. And we have a complete instruction sheet on how you can use these test strips to determine where your mineral reserve is at and everything else, and whether you're hydrated. For instance, if you have a high specific gravity, then you're probably going to have too many proteins and creatines and calcium and all this other stuff in your urine, and it's going to be hard on your kidneys and whatnot. But it will tell us if you're dehydrated or not. And every single client that I've talked with that has followed these instructions with the test strips is like, use your 14 panel, then after you get your pH test strips where it's supposed to be, from most people are acid, to get it up in the alkaline range, then pull another 14 panel, and you'll see that so many things that were abnormal are normal again. And so most people are dehydrated and they're acid, and this is a good way to monitor how much healthy salt you need. But this shifts like in days. I've never seen anything shift urinalysis, because you can eat alkaline foods and do a pH test strip, but boy, with the healthy salt, and it doesn't take much, it just really shifts your body chemistry. And then the infections, these people that for 3 years, constant practical infections, they haven't had an infection since. So every time they've got a reminder on their phone to drink water, and then they're just using a little tiny pinch of healthy salt in every glass. And now with Dr. Polak's research, we know that it's creating that pH differential to drive the osmotic flow and to help with the gel state of the water, so you're more hydrated, you know, and then your immunity is working better. It's just a fabulous combination, and scientific, so you can see where you're at. You know, if somebody goes and drinks coffee, or, you know, they're going to be more acid right away, and they can use that healthy salt to pull them right out of that danger zone.
Yes, and you know, I would be so bold to say, when you're drinking or using that healthy salt, that you're not going to want to drink the coffee. It's going to be a natural step away from the acidity of coffee. And then why would you want to just wipe out what you just did with the salt, right? So I think that's a natural progression for people to get healthier. So
And
thank
then
you.
also people are finding out, that when they do have the salt, they have so much more energy. I've had people get off
Yes.
coffee and other
Yeah.
people say, well, don't take it in the evening,
You'll be up all
cause
night.
you'll be up,
Yes. Well, I just love the product line that you bring forward. Again, just your background in a nuclear power engineer, as a nuclear power engineer, now to be working on products for holistic health is quite spectacular. And again, I'll say it, New Earth business where it is in service to humanity, using technology in a very powerful and effective way. So I want to thank you, Eileen. This has been a fascinating quantum conversation on beautiful tips and tools and products that we can use to make our life better. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Is there anything you want to add about your special offer and how people can work with that?
Well, when you want to take advantage of a special offer, make sure and add both products to your cart. So it's going to show the full price for both as if you were going to purchase both. And then add in the coupon code, add that coupon code. So it's BREATHE, BREATHE, to get your Breathe Safe with your home hot yoga studio. That's the lamp and the tent. And then click the button and it will take that amount off of there. And then if you want to buy the healthy salt and get the free test strip package, again, put the healthy salt in your cart, and then we sell each of the test strips individually, but then there's a 3-pack. So put the 3-pack in the cart and use the coupon code FREEBIE, FREEBIE, and it will take that off. So let's say you want to take advantage of both offers. Unfortunately, the cart only accepts one coupon code, so place 2 orders. And then you can get those free products and start your journey.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And if there's any questions on that, anyone, please give us an email or give us a call and we'll help you out with that. Wonderful products, quantum products and quantum tools. I want to thank you, Eileen Durfee, for this beautiful quantum conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eileen. We'll be back again to talk with you about more products, and I thank you for your time today.
Take care.
Thank you too. All right. Okay, so again, if you would like to check out Eileen Durfee's special offer, it is available on the special offer webpage at acoustichealth.com/special offers/Eileen. And also on the show page, you can check out other items that Eileen has in her full website by clicking all infrared products and more. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We hope you found this helpful today. Now it is time to dance our way to the cosmic heart. Enjoy. you for listening to this quantum conversation, and thank you for dancing with us to the cosmic heart. As we raise our own vibration, we raise the vibration of the planet. This show is dedicated to you and all awakening hearts as we are here to shine our bright light and amplify our love. Access all quantum conversations, special offers from our guests, and online healing retreats by visiting acoustichealth.com. I'm Loren Gailey, and from my sacred heart to yours, I honor your magnificent love and light. We leave you now with music from the universe, music literally created by the universe as musical notes were assigned to mathematical equations. The result is this beautiful music available at acoustichealth.com. Namaste.